Hey guys, what's going on? This is Ed from VinylAlbumCovers.com. Welcome back to Slept On. You know what we do with Slept On, don't you? We go over songs that you might have missed the first time around. Now, up until this point, I have done either singles that didn't necessarily do very well or songs that weren't singles at all. In this particular instance, I'm kind of going to do a single that didn't do all that well, but it didn't do terribly when it came out. I'm speaking about, and you already know from the thumbnail, I'm speaking of a group called Blue Magic, and the song that we'll be covering this time is Stop to Start. Now, Blue Magic was originally made up of Yes, I'm Cheating. This is how we cheat. Blue Magic was formed back in 1972. And the original members of the group, of course, Ted Mills we know, Wendell Sawyer, Duke Beaton, Richard Pratt, and Vernon Sawyer. We're going to be talking about the 1974 album Blue Magic. They actually released 2 albums that year. They released Blue Magic and The Magic of the Blue, both of which came out on Atco. The Blue Magic album actually itself did very, very well in the R&B charts. It peaked at number 4. It didn't do quite as well on the pop charts. But to my way of thinking, it has no apologies to make. I mean, this album was first of all, I should also mention that this album was a very, very early example of the Baker Harrison Young production style. It's one of the very first ones. And it's just incredible. I mean, Look Me Up, come on. Sideshow, to me anyway, is the least of the songs on this album. And it's still pretty good, but I think the other things are better. Welcome to the Club of Lonely Hearts. Love that song. What else? What's Come Over Me? Gorgeous, gorgeous tune. It's an original. Ted Mills wrote it. Just an amazing song. He was originally hired by Atco to write songs. And then he ended up getting hooked up with another group, and they came together to form Blue Magic. The story is actually kind of interesting. But What's Come Over Me is just absolutely fantastic. Just Don't Want to Be Lonely. Gorgeous, gorgeous tune. Answer to My Prayers. Amazing, amazing song. Just so many great songs on that album. But we're going to cover Stop to Start, mostly because, and you'll hear in just a second when we go over it, it's got, not only does it have Ted Mills leading, as he was the principal lead vocalist, and he led very much in the falsetto style of the time, kind of like, not unlike Russell Tompkins from the Stylistics, but just differently. They had different voices, even though they both sang in falsetto. But Richard Pratt actually takes part of this too. He takes the verses. I guess they're verses. I'm thinking it's like. But we'll talk more about it after we listen to it, kind of try to figure out the form together. But it's just an incredible song, and we're going to listen to it together here. So I found this performance of them doing it on Soul Train when the record was out, and so I'm going to share that with you. So this won't just be a listening exercise, this will also be a visual exercise. Just like the last time, I'm going to keep my fat mouth shut until it's done. So anyway, this is Stop to Start by Blue Magic. And first we'll open up with Don Cornelius, because why not, right? So here we go.
And as they join us again to do their latest smash on Atco entitled Stop to Start, let's get some hands together one more time, gang, for Blue Magic.
Very first time I looked at you, that day. That's all I can do.
So when I say that with you, I only stop so we can start all again. I only stop so we can start all again. I only stop.
Remember the day that I made you cry, when I told you goodbye.
It was only a lie. I only stopped so we could start all over again. I only stopped so we could start all over again. I only stopped. When things get rough, here's what we'll do. Kiss and make up. Let's keep our love new. So when I say that with you, I only stop so we can start all over again. I only stop so we can start all over again. I only stop so we can start all over again. I only stop so we can start all over again. I only stop.
Gorgeous, gorgeous, gorgeous tune. There's so many good things about it. First of all, and I was about to say this earlier, Richard Pratt, who's the bass singer, actually gets part of the lead, which is really cool. I did say that, didn't I? I think I said it. Man, I'm getting old. Don't get old. It's not worth it. Stop it if you can. You can't. But it's just, his voice is so smooth. I was actually responding to a comment from Jason Elias on the Temptations video for "I Could Never Stop Loving You," and he mentioned that Melvin was one of the few bass singers that could actually swing, and he's right. Of course, he's right. He's Jason Elias, but I thought was really interesting too is that Melvin kind of he didn't have just a voice that was low. Like, his voice had real character and real expression, and Richards kind of has that too. It's very, very smooth. It goes down really easy. It's not harshly low, but it feels really, really good, and it's very smooth, and it really caresses the lyric nicely. And then, of course, Ted comes in, an octave higher, just absolutely killing it. And it's interesting because there are actually, and I was trying to remember this while it was playing, but there's a part in, I guess what would be, the form is interesting. A lot of Baker and Harris and Young songs are interesting this way, that the form is kind of odd. So you have, like, I guess what would be like the verse, like the A section, and then you have that B section too, when Ted comes in, when the falsetto comes in, and then you have a chorus, and it repeats that way, until you get to the very end of the song, and then you're in the chorus, and it just vamps out, and that's what it is. It actually does go on longer than the Soul Train clip does, just a little bit. But I thought it was very interesting in that second B section, it was only a lie. Like, if you listen to Ted sing that, try not to listen to me sing it if you can avoid it at all. But if you listen to him sing it, his intonation actually goes a little off there. It's interesting. You would have figured that would have been caught in the studio, because it's not dead perfect. Not that it needs to be perfect either or anything like that, but if it were me behind the board in that little piece, I probably would have had him do it again, because it was noticeable. Not terrible or anything like that, but I probably would have had him fix it if it were me. But I can live with it. I don't mind it, and it's more obvious when you've got earbuds in or headphones in that are kind of a little top heavy. You can hear it better than you would if it were coming through your stereo or like your car radio or something like that. But I just happened to notice it while I was listening. Oh, wait a minute, that intonation's a little off. It's not quite perfect, which is odd for Ted, because Ted was always perfect and still is perfect. Even at his age, he can still do this stuff. It's pretty incredible. And the group there's still a form of this group that is out there right now. In fact, last I checked, I believe there are 2 that are out there that are working under the name. And Ted is not in any of them, or not in either of them. But anyway, let me see, what else? There were other things I was thinking too about the song. The string arrangement in it is just absolutely gorgeous, just gorgeous, always gorgeous on Baker Harris and Young things. The drumming by Earl Young is just perfect. It always is. It's never overly complicated, but it doesn't have to be, and it always feels really good too. Yeah, I mean, what can you say about MFSB? Just amazing rhythm section, amazing strings. It's difficult to hear the sonic properties of it this way. I didn't show that off, but I do have the album, of course. And on the album, it sounds great too. Baker Harris and Young albums always sounded great. They always had really great engineering. Frankfurt Wayne is the mastering lab that took care of the mastering for all that stuff, and mastered very well, recorded well at Sigma Sound in Philly. Just an amazing sounding record that I would have imagined at that time would have just completely jumped out of the radio. I don't even think I was 1 when the song came out. But I would have thought it would have done better. It did okay. It got to like number 14 on the R&B charts, but to me it sounds like a number 1 record. Like, what were they thinking back then, And they were on the same record label as Donny Hathaway too. They were on Atco. So it's not like they didn't know how to handle R&B. They did. And I mean, I know Donny Hathaway wasn't a huge success or anything like that, but not a huge commercial success. Artistic success, huge, of course. But Atco was an arm of Atlantic. This was Ahmet Ertegun, and Atlantic was originally started as an R&B record label, so you would think, that they would have been able to get this a little bit higher, which leads one to believe that maybe it wasn't even Atlantic's fault. Maybe the public just didn't love it as much as I do. I don't know. I wasn't there. But I hear this song and I'm just thinking, like, this should just leap out of the radio and be hugely successful. I'm not sure why it wasn't. It's successful with me, darn it. Maybe that's all that matters. Hopefully you enjoyed it too, because I did. I really enjoyed the video. The outfits were killing me. The clothes, though, from that time period, and the afros are just amazing. You gotta love a good afro. But anyway, and who doesn't love Soul Train? Come on, like you have to. But thank you so much for watching that with me. That was fun, and I enjoyed getting to go over that song. I always love that song. Always, the whole record is just incredible. If you don't have Blue Magic's debut album, why don't you? You can find it on all the streamers. It's out there. It's readily accessible. In fact, there's a version out there with additional songs out there now, a bonus track edition that you can find on iTunes. There's a Tom Moulton mix of Look Me Up, and there's a couple of other things too, things that were B-sides for singles that came out. So check the whole thing out. It's pretty incredible. One of the best Baker Harrison Young records that's out there. So anyway, thank you so much for watching yet another video in the Slept On series. We are on our way to 100 subscribers. Can you believe it? Like, this channel, like, we're doing it. We're getting to 100 subscribers. I am here for it, kids. So let's share the video around. Tell people about the channel. Let's get this up to 100 subscribers. See how ridiculous we can really make this, right? Like, this channel could get 100 subscribers. It's hard to believe. But we're close. We're really, really close. We had a bunch of new subscribers jump on with the last video. So interesting, very interesting to see this happening. Maybe this channel is actually going to happen. Could it happen? I don't know. Let's find out, though. Let's try. But as always, I implore you, please, like the video or dislike it. Give me some feedback somehow. If you didn't like it, let me know that. If you did, let me know that too. More than anything, I love it when you comment. I think comments are almost as much fun as putting the video together. I've said it before, but I mean it. So comment. Let me know what you think of what you saw, what you thought of me, anything. I love to respond. I respond to every comment. So let me know what your thoughts are. And more than anything, I hope you enjoyed this song. Point of all of this is to share music. So I really hope you enjoyed that song and that you found a new favorite to to pop in the car and listen when you're going places, or just a new favorite to enjoy at home. But again, thank you very much for watching the video. Really appreciate it. Whenever you watch my videos, I always appreciate it. And I'll have another one coming up soon. And until it comes, keep listening to great music.